action. If you own a camera, it will have HD video now. That's how it is. It can either be your little point and shoot or it could be your DSLR. I'm here to give you your basic settings, the ultimate guide. And it's really going to get kind of in depth, but basic at the same time. Yeah, it's confusing. But I'm going to teach you how to use your camera, what settings you should use. Yeah, so here we go. Here's an intro, your ultimate guide to DSLR video. So let me give you a little bit of background about myself. Once again, I'm called the guy with the eye, Eric Rossi, and I graduated from school a couple years ago and with a TV film degree. So not in regards to my business and everything like that, I do photography, but I also do freelance, video production, a camera, lighting, grip, etc., everything like that. So I'm here to help you guys out. I'm here to give you the settings and everything you need, some quick tips and everything to get you using your video right about me. First and foremost, this is what every person is really intimidated at first, and that is getting out of your auto modes. You gotta flip your dial, a little dial top of your camera, into manual mode. So do it right now. I'll wait. You gotta get in the manual mode because with video, you really need to be specific with everything. If anything is really automated, especially if it's like ISO or zooming and everything like that, I'll cover all that in a second, then it's really gonna look horrible, and those things are magnified. You can get away with it in a still photograph, but those things are magnified with video. Probably one of the biggest settings you gotta worry about, once you set it, you can forget it, is your shutter speed. Shutter speed is really essential because just as a photography, you have a slower shutter speed. Most cameras won't go below like a 15th or 30th of a second. You're gonna see motion blur with your subject moving or something like that. So it just does not look good. And if you use a higher shutter speed over like 200th of a second or anything like that, you really see jumpiness, choppiness, and it's not pleasing to the eye. Kind of makes you want to go, ugh. Maybe not that bad, but that's just how it is. So the one thing you really have to do, and this is cinematic film quality, is you set your shutter speed to a 60th of a second, and once you do that, you're done. That's when you start building in lights and everything to make everything warm, or to make everything brighter, less bright, everything like that. That's where you start to get full control and everything looks good. So set your shutter speed to 1/60th of a second. Now, a couple quick things come in with that, and that is frames per second. So if you're not sure what that is, you're kind of scratching your head like, what the hell is frames per second? It's actually not that intimidating. Picture 1 second of video. So, that was a second. Within that 1 second, now this is where I'm gonna give you a couple quick numbers. You can have 24 frames a second, 30 frames a second, there's 25 if you're in PAL and everything like that, or 60 frames per second. So within that 1 second clip, there is 24 or 30 or 60 quick cut images within that second. So you can get a lot of information in that. So when you hear those numbers, keep that in mind. If you can do it in 24 or 30 frames a second, I would say go to 30 if you can. But if you want to do true slow-mo, once again, I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now. If you want to do true slow-mo because there's so much information you want, you use 60 frames per second. That is true slow motion. So I know that's a lot of information, but basically keep your shutter speed to a 60th of a second to get real film quality, cinematic look-alike, and avoid the other things. And try to get, if you just want to do regular speed stuff, just regular movement, use 24 or 30 frames per second, whatever your camera allows, and 60 frames if you want to do true slow-mo, and you can slow that down in post. Your ISO is extremely important in video. If you go too high, it really is magnified. You see the noise, you see the grain, and it just doesn't look good. So there's nothing about pixel peeping here to where like, oh, you're overlooking it. Noise in video does not look good, and it's not supposed to unless you're going for a really, really specialized effect. So the best case scenario, don't go really nuts with your ISO, trying to go over like 800 or 1000. It just doesn't look good. It's just something you need to do. Once again, it's working with lighting. If you're serious about this, you can invest in cool lights, continuous lights, fluorescent lights for under $200 that can get you started. Your white balance is also key as well. Once again, if you keep that automated, I know I just made a video saying that when I do photography, that I'm mainly an auto white balance. When you're doing video, completely different. As I said, you want nothing automated in video. So when you get your white balance, I really highly suggest using none of the presets whatsoever, going into manual and presetting, and not presetting, to actually putting in the Kelvin temperature. Once again, that's the color temperature. So that way, if you want something warmer, something cooler, you manually do it. And the lighting, when the lighting changes, your setting will change if you're in auto. So if you're not, you have full control over how your scene will look and your white balance. So don't use anything automated in that case. I'm gonna get to the most important thing about DSLR video at my last point, but I'm gonna kind of address a couple quick things, common questions. Should you autofocus in video? Is that really key? Does it really matter? Well, actually, yeah, autofocusing with the DSLR isn't that great because you'll see, it'll hunt. You'll hear the your motor and everything trying to hunt and find focus. That's not gonna look good and you're not gonna get something great. Also, should you use vibration reduction, image stabilization? If you're on a tripod, there's absolutely no point. But the thing is, does that degrade quality or anything like that? Not really. There hasn't been really any thing huge that says it does degrade quality. It's just unnecessary, so you don't have to really worry about it. But it's in regards of when you're going handheld and you don't have like a shoulder mount or anything like that, and you got to use, you know, with the vibration reduction now is getting insane with 4 or 5 different, you know, stops of technology and everything like that. So you can go around, you can get nice shots using VR. So don't be intimidated if you're going handheld, but I always recommend using a tripod or some kind of stabilization device. This is the biggest thing in DSLR video, and what is that? It is your sound. Your sound can kill anything that looks right. You can have the greatest rack focus, you can have the greatest, you know, jib shot where you show something wide. If your sound is awful, your video is going to be awful because no one wants to watch it. You can't use your onboard mic anymore. You can't use what's on your camera because it sounds terrible. You have to get something off. You can either, you know, get a shotgun mic that you can, you know, hook an accessory in that'll sound much better and it'll pick something up. You know, the sound, you can pick it coming up there, or you can get a nice lavalier microphone like I have here or something like that. You know, sorry if I made some noise there. And you can get definitely an external digital audio recorder, something, you know, portable. I pull it out here, but I don't want the wires to fall out. So you got to get your sound off camera. It will make that much of a difference. But the huge thing a lot of people have is, well, you have to sync the sound. How is it supposed to match up? It's actually not that bad. Here, I have a, give me 1 second, I have a board right here, and I'll link a video I did about how to sync sound in depth in general anyway. I did that a while ago. But basically what you would do is you would start off, make it quiet, be like, I just clapped, I just did something there. You go into your editing software, you see where you first hear the, and you cut there. Once again, I'll link a video down below. But getting sound off your camera is the most important thing. It's very, very easy to do. I have a little setup here that costs under $120. So it's really key, very simple. And if you're dead serious about this, if you want to do interviews and everything like that, it's pretty essential. So that should actually get you started. That should get you out there. That should actually help you out 1000% in regards to your just video in general, even if you're not just using a DSLR. It'll get you thinking once again, I gave you everything you need to know. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. I answer everything. So yeah, I will have, you know, I'll segment things later on, show you the examples and everything like that. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Here's your ultimate intro guide DSLR video. Get shooting, guys. Have fun.